The WNBA just proved they'd rather fight their own fans than celebrate their success. And trust me, this is a war they're going to lose. While viewership numbers are hitting record highs and arenas are selling out for the first time in 28 years, WNBA players are doing something absolutely mind-blowing. They're attacking the very people responsible for their newfound success. And I'm not talking about a little pushback. We're talking about a full-blown meltdown that's exposing exactly why this league wasn't ready for prime time. Before we dive into this absolute circus, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more content about what's really happening in women's basketball. Because what I'm about to share with you is going to blow your mind. Picture this: Wednesday night in Indianapolis, the Indiana Fever are hosting the Phoenix Mercury. Now, for those of you who don't follow pretend basketball religiously, let me catch you up on some drama. DeWanna Bonner, or as the media calls her, DB, which is hilarious because literally nobody knows who she is, was playing for Indiana at the start of the season. Then she got her feelings hurt because she wasn't getting enough playing time. But here's where it gets juicy. The real reason she left? She was heartbroken. Not about basketball, about missing her girlfriend, Alyssa Thomas, who plays for Phoenix. So this grown woman forces her way out of Indiana in the middle of the season to go play with her boo. And Wednesday night was her first game back in Indianapolis. You know what happens when a player forces their way out of a team, right? They get booed. It's sports 101. Anthony Davis still gets booed in New Orleans 6 years later. Chris Paul, 15 years and counting. That's just how it works. So when DeWanna Bonner shows up, Caitlin Clark fans give her some polite boos. And when I say polite, I mean this was like getting booed at a golf tournament compared to what happens in real sports. Take a listen to this earth-shattering, career-ending booing that apparently traumatized the entire WNBA. Now, any normal professional athlete would understand this is part of the game. You leave a team, you get booed when you come back. It's actually a sign of respect. It means fans care enough to remember who you are. But remember, we're not dealing with normal professional athletes here. We're dealing with the WNBA. After the game, someone named Kahleah Copper, and yes, this is the same player whose weave fell off during a game earlier this week, decided to speak to the media. And instead of embracing the fact that fans are finally engaged enough to boo, she went on this absolutely unhinged rant about how disrespectful and distasteful it was. She literally said, "We don't need all of that. It's just unnecessary. Lady, you've been playing in front of empty arenas for decades. You should be thrilled that people care enough to boo." But no, she had to turn it into another opportunity to attack the fan base. And this is exactly why I can't stand this league. Let me break something down for you. 2 years ago, nobody knew who any of these players were. When WNBA players walked through airports, people thought they were there to clean the bathrooms. Their own families wouldn't recognize them when they came home for the off-season. Then Caitlin Clark enters the league, and literally overnight, everything changes. You want to know how much things have changed? Let me hit you with some numbers. WNBA games are averaging 1.2 million viewers this season, up from 440,000 in 2023. The Fever's games, they're pulling between 1.8 and 2.5 million viewers. 18 games have exceeded 1 million viewers. These are NBA-level numbers for a league that used to be happy if they got 50,000 people watching on TV. But here's the problem. When you grow this fast and you're not ready for it, all your dirty laundry gets exposed. And boy, does the WNBA have some dirty laundry. Let's talk about the All-Star voting fiasco. Caitlin Clark received over 1.3 million fan votes for the All-Star game, the most of any player. She was number 3 among media members. But when it came to votes from her fellow WNBA players, 9th. Not first, not third, 9th among guards. That wouldn't even get her on the All-Star roster if it was up to the players. Dick Vitale called it perfectly when he tweeted, "It is absurd the way that a number of players in the WNBA have treated Caitlin Clark. So sad, but I bet they love the charter flights, the increase in salaries, the crowds, the TV ratings since she arrived." Oh, and speaking of charter flights, let's address that elephant in the room. Charles Barkley went on TNT and told these players they should be thanking Caitlin Clark for getting them private planes. You know what happened? Angel Reese called Shaq crying because he didn't defend her. These players are so fragile, they can't even handle someone suggesting they should be grateful for their improved conditions. But wait, it gets better. At the All-Star game, Kelsey Plum decided to publicly call out Caitlin Clark's team for missing a morning meeting about wearing "Pay us what you owe us" t-shirts. She actually tattled on them during the press conference. Sabrina Ionescu was sitting right next to her, looking like she wanted to disappear. Even she knew it was not really needed to be mentioned. Colin Cowherd absolutely destroyed Plum on his show. He said, "You went from flying on airlines that made you pay for water to flying private. You went from a Motel 6 in a sketchy part of town to a Four Seasons in the shopping district. Why do you take a shot at the golden goose?" And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Why are these players so determined to bite the hand that feeds them? Let me tell you a story about business growth. I was meeting with a small business owner recently who told me she didn't want to grow too fast. At first, I thought she was crazy. Who doesn't want rapid growth? But she explained that when you grow overnight, you need capital, infrastructure, and trained employees ready to handle the increased demand. If you're not prepared, that growth can destroy you. That's exactly what's happening to the WNBA. They went from complete anonymity to mainstream exposure overnight, and they were not ready. Their players aren't media trained, they don't understand fan engagement. They think booing is disrespectful, instead of recognizing it as a sign that people actually care about their sport. The commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, recently had to address what she called the perception of bullying in the league. She said the players are handling it with grace. Grace? Attacking your fan base every chance you get is grace? Complaining about every little thing is grace? Here's what really gets me. These players are making $78,000 a year and complaining about it, while Caitlin Clark is bringing in $36 million in economic impact to Indianapolis alone. She's responsible for 27% of the league's economic activity. And how do her fellow players thank her? By ranking her 9th in All-Star voting. Pat McAfee said it best. $70,000 as a paycheck is an embarrassment. But you know what's more embarrassing? Having the golden goose land in your lap and trying to strangle it because you're jealous. The WNBA players only get 9.3% of league revenue. NBA players get 49 to 51%. You know why? Because NBA players understand that growing the game means more money for everyone. They embrace their stars. They market their rivalries. They don't attack fans for showing emotion. But the WNBA, they're too busy playing victim to realize they're destroying their own opportunity. They finally have mainstream attention, sold-out arenas, and million-dollar TV deals. And what do? They whine about fans booing. They complain about media coverage. They attack the very people who made their success possible. Here's a fun fact for you. There were even fake rumors circulating about Caitlin Clark leaving the WNBA because of how she's been treated. Now, those rumors were false. But the fact that people believed them tells you everything you need to know about how toxic this league has become. The truth is, this league is full of entitled victims who want all the benefits of popularity without any of the responsibilities. They want packed arenas, but only if everyone sits quietly and claps politely. They want media coverage, but only if it's 100% positive. They want higher salaries, but they don't want to acknowledge the person bringing in the revenue. You know what America celebrates? Survivors, not victims. Winners, not whiners. And right now, the WNBA is showing exactly why they spent 28 years in obscurity. I've tried to give this league a chance. I really have. But when Kahleah Copper looks directly into the camera and essentially says, "We don't want fans like you," why would I waste my time or money? When players attack their own supporters for showing basic sports emotions, why would anyone invest in this product? The question isn't whether the WNBA will survive. With Caitlin Clark, they'll probably keep growing despite themselves. The question is, how long will it take for these players to realize they're sabotaging their own success? How long before sponsors and networks get tired of the drama and negativity? Because make no mistake, this is not sustainable. You cannot build a successful sports league by attacking your fan base. You cannot grow a business by telling your customers they're not wanted. And you definitely cannot compete with other entertainment options when your players are more interested in playing victim than playing basketball. The WNBA had a chance to embrace their moment, to celebrate their growth, to welcome new fans with open arms. Instead, they've chosen to gatekeep, complain, and alienate. They've chosen to be bitter instead of better. So here's my advice to the WNBA. Grow up. Accept that professional sports comes with passionate fans who boo, cheer, and care deeply about the game. Stop attacking the people who pay your salaries. And for the love of all that is holy, stop pretending that mild disapproval from fans is some kind of human rights violation. Because if you don't, Those charter flights you're so proud of? They'll be flying empty planes to empty arenas, and you'll have nobody to blame but yourselves. What do you think? Are WNBA players justified in their complaints, or are they killing their own golden goose? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of what's really happening in women's basketball, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Tomorrow, we're diving into another controversy these players don't want you to know about. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.